So our team's coming forward now for the final of the Cell C 2017 Africa Cup here at the Inanda Polo Club. Leading them onto the field is the team of Titan Law Zimbabwe in the black shirts, and following them up behind our two umpires, Campbell McNabb and Brad McGibbon, is the South African team of Rockblend. So we have a Zimbabwe South African final. Duncan Ellis looking to his adoring wife in the stands, and leading them on in the front rank we have Nicola Elcombe, Martin Versveld, Matt Cassini and Pancho McLaughlin. They're going to wheel into line in the centre, and then I will introduce the teams in front of the Inanda clubhouse. So as the umpires move on to the Cell C central point, we have on the right hand side the team of Titan Law Zimbabwe in the black shirts, and in the white shirts from South Africa we have Rockblend. Let's give them a big hand of applause as they parade there in front of you before I individually introduce them in front of you. So well done for our teams. They qualified to come through, and here they are ready for the final. And for Titan Law Zimbabwe, playing up in the number 1 position off -1, Nicola Elcombe. In the number 2 position off 0 goals, Martin Versveld. In the number 3 position off 2 goals, Matt Cassini. And bringing up the rear, Francisco Pancho McLaughlin off 4 goals. And opposing them for the South African team in the white shirts, up in the number 1 position for Rockblend, Leanne Spark off 0 goals. In the number 2 position, he'll be very upset if I call him 65, he's actually 55, Owen Nelson off 0 goals. And in the blue helmet, playing off 2 goals in the number 3 position, Cameron Chubb. And last but by no means least, the great campaigner, played polo for so many years, off 4 goals, Duncan Ellis. There we have it. The teams are ready. The battle lines are drawn. And we're just about to start the first period of play for this, the 2017 final of the Cell C Africa Cup. Cell C themselves, their Zambian team played earlier on. They were not victorious to get through to the final, but we have Titan Law Zimbabwe in the dark shirts against Rockblend South Africa in the white shirts. Our umpires, Brad McGibbon and Campbell McNabb, lined up, ready, both teams off 6 goals. I said to you before we had the drones there, I do apologise, it's Supersport will be televising this, and if you look on the Inanda Club website, the times of transmission will be posted in due course. It'll be something like 2 to 3 weeks' time when this final will go out on Supersport. Okay, we're ready to start. The umpires will have a little quick word with the 2 teams to tell them to behave, tell them they want no back chat, and then we'll be off in the start of this final. So we have Nicola Elcombe, Martin Versveld, Matt Cassini, Pancho McLaughlin against Leanne Spark, Owen Nelson, Cameron Chubb and Duncan Ellis. The umpire just coming back onto the field with a few balls. I'll tell you a little bit about the polo ponies that we're going to be playing this afternoon. I have a list of all the horses that are played, because you may be dazzled by the stick work of the players, but you are nothing in polo without the 4 legs beneath you. It's picked up there by Leanne Spark. Leanne still battling around. Now she loses it. Finally taken away by Matt Cassini. Matt Cassini riding a horse of Martin Versveld in this chucker. Duncan Ellis on his lovely grey mare, Night Owl, takes it down the field. Still it's Duncan Ellis coming through. This mare is 6 years old. She's quite young. Picked out now by Pancho McLaughlin. Pancho can't get a hold of it. Left now. It's going to be picked up by Matt Cassini. Matt Cassini takes this one down the field. He's riding a mare called Question in this chucker, lent to him by Martin Versveld. Leanne Spark doesn't get a hold of it. Through come Titan Law Zimbabwe. Still on the advance. Pushing it down the field. Titan Law Zimbabwe. Still going along. Can they pick it? Taking it through. Taking it on the near side there. Pancho McLaughlin on the grey. Pancho McLaughlin, the grey he's riding, belongs to Warren Lurie. Warren Lurie has mounted Pancho throughout this match, and that grey is called Luna. It's going to be picked up now by Duncan on Night Owl. Whistle goes, clock stops. We'll now have a little break. The first break of the match. First whistle went 1 minute into the game as we wait for the umpire's decision. So a penalty 4 awarded. Remember I said, no, a penalty 3, apologise. So it might even be a 2. A little bit difficult to see from here. It looks like it's a penalty 2. This is a free hit on an undefended goal. Pancho McLaughlin riding Luna comes in. He takes the strike. He puts it through. The first one goes up onto the board to the team of Titan Law Zimbabwe, with Pancho the goal scorer from that first penalty of the Titan Law Zimbabwe team. So they're going to line up, they're going to bowl the ball in. We've got 1 on the board for Zimbabwe. South Africa yet to get off the mark. They're going to line up over on the far side. If you're enjoying a drink and you haven't been watching the polo, you've got 4 chuckers of dynamite coming up. So it's about time you started to watch the polo, and rather the bottom of your glass is going to be picked up now by Titan Law Zimbabwe. Matt Cassini didn't really get a hold of that one. He found fresh air, and the old man himself, Owen Nelson, picks that one up on the near side. Now he leaves it behind, and it's going to be picked up by Pancho McLaughlin. Pancho turns it around. Pancho comes from Argentina, but he plays all his polo in Zimbabwe, where he has been residing there for all of this summer, which is why he's playing for this Zimbabwean team. Consummate horseman is Pancho. Only 23 and already on a 4-goal handicap. Very much a up-and-coming force in polo. So it's going to be Pancho who's going to take the strike. Riding this 7-year-old mare called Luna. As I said, belongs to Warren Lurie. And he goes past Leanne Spark. But Leanne Spark on a little horse called Ant manages to get the better of the ride off. In comes Leanne Spark again, but left behind, and it's going to be picked up now by Cameron Chubb. Cameron Chubb with a little stick and ball effort. Here he goes, he's looking for goal time. Cameron Chubb scores! Lovely goal there from Cameron Chubb. Cameron Chubb picked the loose ball up. He's riding a horse called Divine. She's 14 years old, and Cameron Chubb said, thanks very much, I like that, and I'm going to put that one away between the goal. We've got all the ones wrong. We've got Cameron Chubb put that one on the board. I'm not quite sure. We've got 2 on the board registered, but it should be 1 for Rockblend. We'll just make sure we've got the score correct, as it's picked up in the middle of the field by Pancho McLaughlin. Whistle goes as Duncan Ellis came in together. Let's see which way the umpires decide to put that one. So, from the spot, Pancho McLaughlin takes the strike, pushes it along. It's still Pancho, has possession. Still going forward, still he's there. He's challenged by Leanne Spark. Leanne is a very hard rider of the player, and that's why she's been marking Pancho. And Leanne got the better on that ride off there. Little mare of hers called Ant doing sterling work. In comes Duncan Ellis. Duncan takes the backhand shot. Doesn't really get the length he was looking for. In comes Leanne, tightly marking Pancho McLaughlin. Look at the way that Pancho brings this mare of Warren Lurie's around. Lovely little mare called Luna, as finally the whistle goes. Pancho McLaughlin taking the opportunity to go off and change his pony. As I said, you can change a pony at any time that you like in polo. They won't necessarily stop, but he quickly changes. You saw he just jumped from one saddle to the other. doesn't stop. He's coming back on a mare called Tonic, a gelding called Tonic. This one is 8 years old. Polo ponies have a career that lasts from about 4 years. They start their career, and if they're looked after, they might play all the way through till 20. We have one mare here today that I know is about 17, but generally speaking, if you look after your horses, they should play on right the way through till their late teens, and it's nice to see that they have such a long career. So in comes Pancho McLaughlin on Tonic. He goes for the big strike. He puts it through. Lovely goal there. That penalty taken by Pancho McLaughlin. Puts it through. And another one goes up onto the board for Titan Law Zimbabwe. Into the middle, ends reversed. Whistle goes, the clock will stop. We've got 3 minutes remaining in this opening chukker. Game not really hotted up yet. The break is made by Duncan Ellis. He takes the backhand shot, tries to get it to Cameron Chubb. Owen Nelson, the veteran of the team, drives that one up to Cameron Chubb. Cameron Chubb comes through, nicely played by Cameron as he brings it down the field. It's still Cameron Chubb taking it along. Through he goes. He's over the top. Ball runs loose. It's going to be picked up now by Duncan. He just goes forward a little bit. He's going to be challenged by Pancho McLaughlin. Pancho comes in for the ride-off. Duncan says, I can't get through. There's too much traffic in the way. He allows the player of his number 3, Cameron Chubb, to prick the ball up. Cameron comes in. Backhand by Pancho McLaughlin. Has the whistle gone? Very untidy play there in front of the goal mouth. Lots of traffic in the way. And we'll await the umpire's decision to see what they decide. So the ball going out over the back line, I think. Looks like that one went over the back line from a defending player's stick. So in this case, we have what's called a safety 60. If the ball goes over the back line, you place it exactly opposite where it went over the back line. It's like the equivalent of a corner kick in football, and it's going to be Duncan Ellis who comes in to take the strike. Duncan, he lofts it beautifully, but he doesn't loft it straight enough. Goes over the back line wide. The score remains 3-2. Titan Law Zimbabwe and 1-2 Rockblend South Africa. Pancho McLaughlin brings it in, tucks it inside the opposition, makes a little bit of room for himself. Cameron Chubb will have to get out of the way. As I said, the game not really hotting up yet. Being played at the moment at quite a sedate pace as it drives it down the field, tries to get it up to his teammate Matt Cassini. Duncan Ellis cancels him out. Picked up now, Martin Vesveld can't get a hold of it. Leanne Spark, little thing. This time it's Martin Vesveld who picks it up. Martin trying to take it down towards the flags. He leaves it behind. It's going to be picked up now by Leanne Spark. Over the balls it goes, hops the boards and out of play. The ball will be bowled in. In it goes. Duncan Ellis on Night Owl brings it down the field. Being ridden out of it though by Pancho McLaughlin, who's on this horse of Warren Lure. It's called Tonic. He gets the better of the ride-off. Duncan hassling him hard. Both of them playing off a 4-goal handicap. The 2 highest rated players on the field. Still Pancho's there. Lovely little backhand flick by Duncan Ellis. Sets it up for Cameron Chubb. Back though by Nicola Elcombe. Through from the rear comes Owen Nelson. Owen Nelson just pushes it along. He's only got one speed, Owen, on the field, and it's flat out. It's either 0 or nothing at all, or rather full speed or nothing. And it's picked up now by Pancho McLaughlin. Big under the neck shot from Pancho. Here comes Titan Law Zimbabwe, but he's being closely marked by Duncan Ellis, which is the better of the ride-off between the two of them. Duncan and Pancho together. The umpire's whistle goes. Did Duncan drift across that right of way? We'll wait to see whether Campbell and Brad McGibbon award the penalty. They have. It's gone in favour of Titan Law Zimbabwe. And Pancho McLaughlin taking the opportunity to either change a stick or change ponies again. No, he wanted a different length of stick. Obviously felt that maybe that one was too long. It had been broken, and he'll come back onto the field. We have a penalty 5B in favour of Titan Law Zimbabwe. The ball being just teed up in the centre of the field by Matt Giacini. Matt being mounted in this chucker by Martin Fersfeld on a horse called Question, and it's quickly taken now by Pancho McLaughlin. Pancho moves forward. Leanne Spark tries to come in, but Matt Giacini tries to take her away. Good play from Leanne. Now it's going to be Matt Giacini. Takes it down the field, leaves it behind. Still Pancho McLaughlin has it. He's being hassled hard now by Duncan Ellis. In comes Cameron Chubb. He stole it away on the near side, sets it up for Duncan, but Nicola Elcombe takes it nicely on the near side, but sends it a little bit too hard over the back line. Out of play. Knock in now for the white shirts of Rockblend, South Africa, but the time is ticking away. Whistle has gone though. Clock has stopped. In comes Duncan. As I said, riding this lovely mare, Night Owl. She's only 6 years old. As he comes in, waiting for that first tutor. There goes the first toot of the bell. That means we've got 30 seconds of play remaining. Duncan's coming along, tries to take the big strike, overruns it. Cameron Chubb does as well, quickly rectifies it, brings it around. He has room to manoeuvre. He's challenged by Matt Giacini. The umpire's whistle goes, says that Matt Giacini didn't have a play. You saw him point to the middle of the field. The next chucker will start with a penalty 5B from the centre of the field. Let's give them a big hand of applause. The end of the first chucker. Off they go. Score 3-1 in favour of Titan Law Zimbabwe. Play restarts with a hit from the centre of the field. Penalty 5B in favour of Rockblend, and it's going down there. Leanne Spark in front of goal. Leanne Spark shoots and scores. Well done to Leanne Spark, who gets the first one on this chucker onto the board. Leanne Spark in this chucker is riding a little mare called Kate. One of the things you might notice, you might say, gosh, we've got women playing out there. And an interesting fact, and I'd like someone to challenge it, I think that polo is the only game in the world, team contact sport, I say again, team contact sport, where women play on an equal par with men. There's absolutely no quarter given. They have the same handicaps, and I don't think you'll find another sport where they play together, team contact sport, on the same level. Just going down the field there towards it goes, over the back line. Just a point to note that this year they have been introducing women's handicaps, and sometimes, not here so much, but the new polo rules do allow for women to have their own handicaps. So although they still play on a par here in this game, which we're watching today, there is now women's polo being introduced who have their own separate handicap settings. In comes the ball towards the boards. It's picked up now by Cameron Chubb. He turns it on the boards. Rockblend have got another one on the board. They trail by 1 goal at the moment. Cameron drives it up to Leanne Spark, the last goal scorer. She gets cancelled out. Good backhand there by Matt Giacini. Turns it around. Pancho McLaughlin comes in. He's ridden hard by Duncan Ellis. Duncan Ellis comes in for the ride-off. Still pushes it down the field. In comes Pancho McLaughlin. Still on a roll. They go down towards the flags. And who's going to pick it up? Down they go towards into the dust. And it will be a knock-in from the back line. Knock-in. We have 5 minutes remaining as Duncan Ellis drives a big drive into the middle of the field, tries to get it up there to Cameron Chubb. Cameron Chubb picks the loose ball up. Cameron is riding a horse called Plet in this chucker. Here he comes driving down the field. Cameron Chubb on this horse called Plet. Away he goes, still pushing down the field. Can he manage to get it in? Cameron Chubb goes for the big under the neck shot. Centres it up well. In comes Leanne Spark, but she just snuck in front of Pancho McLaughlin. He had the right of way. You heard the umpire's whistle go. That'll be a penalty in favour of the Titan Law Zimbabwe team. Pancho McLaughlin taking the opportunity to change ponies very quickly, hopped off a horse called Choir Girl, again from Warren Lurie, and hops onto another one called Snow. And you see, he didn't waste any time at all, was off the field for maybe only 8 seconds whilst he changed ponies. Well done to his grooms, the grooms that are all down there, holding the pony that allowed him to change from one pony to another without even touching the ground and without holding up the game. That's the mark of a good groom. So well done to his groom, Warren Lurie's groom, who's been allowing Pancho to change ponies so quickly. And a big thank you to all the grooms around the field who've turned these ponies out today in such pristine condition. Remember, they are athletes at the peak of their condition. And here comes Pancho McLaughlin riding this horse called Snow, an 8-year-old mare. He gets challenged by Duncan Ellis. They're all riding. Look at the ride off there from Leanne Sparks. She leaves it behind. In comes Cameron Chubb. It's going to be picked up in the melee there by Duncan Ellis. Big under the neck ride off by Duncan, rather wrong under the neck shot, sends it into the middle of the field. It's going to be Cameron Chubb who picks it up now. Cameron takes it towards the middle of the field. He's got Leanne Spark behind him for support. Still there. Pushing down there towards the sidelines. In comes the number 3, Matt Giacini. He appeals for the foul. Umpire's whistle goes. Play stops. We've got under 3 minutes remaining in this second chukker. The scoreline 3-2 in favour of Titan Law Zimbabwe. The spot hit goes in favour of Titan Law Zimbabwe. Pancho McLaughlin teeing the ball up. It's there, ready for him to hit. Just teeing it up nicely at the moment. As he will come round now to take the strike. It's Pancho comes forward. And this horse called Snow, I told you, belongs to Warren Lurie. He sends it up there to Nicola Elcombe. Nicola Elcombe takes this one forward. She's riding a horse called Jafika that belongs to Craig James. Backhand shot there taken by Owen Nelson. Sets it up quite beautifully for Duncan Ellis. Here comes Duncan Ellis into the middle of the field. He tries to straighten it up. He's riding a horse lent to him by Ian Stewart called KC. Thank you, Ian, for lending this horse to Duncan. Most generous lender of ponies is Ian Stewart. Duncan brings it around, loses it. Ball runs loose. It's going to be picked up now by Matt Giacini. Matt has his stick hooked, but that's okay. You're allowed to do it. Nothing wrong with that. Duncan Ellis comes through. He's appealing, but there was nothing wrong with it. You can hook the backhand if it's on the right side of the pony and below the level of the shoulder. So I'm not quite sure why Matt was so upset, but there we go. A hit from the back line. It'll be Pancho McLaughlin to restart play, riding Snow. This horse is 8 years old, so at the very peak of its polo playing. And as you see, Pancho was going forward. Leanne Spark was playing a great game of trying to mark Pancho hard. But what she did there was she rode one of her own players into the line that Pancho had. And you can't ride one of your own players into that right of way. You have to keep the right of way open so that the other player can keep coming down it. A penalty 5B awarded from the centre of the field. So a 5B from the centre of the field. Going to be taken by Pancho McLaughlin. We've got 2.5 minutes remaining. Pancho comes in, pushes it forward. Leanne Spark is trying to come in and attack him. Nicola Elcombe is trying to keep him away. It's a real cat and mouse battle out there, with Leanne being very effectively marking hard on Pancho. Doesn't make for necessarily the most attractive polo when people are marking each other hard, but it's very effective when you've got a player who's only 0 goals of making life difficult for someone on a 4-goal handicap. The penalty going in favour right the way down to that 60-yard point. The umpire saying that the advantage wasn't sufficient, so they're pushing this one forward. When they blew the whistle, it was at the halfway point. And they felt that Titan Law Zimbabwe had infringed that right of way. So they're giving this penalty for free hit at a defended goal from 60 yards out. Ball being teed up by Duncan Ellis to take the strike. I say Duncan riding this bay mare of Ian Stewart's called KC. Cameron Chubb took the opportunity. You see him coming back onto the field. He was riding a horse called Plet. He's come back on another horse called Louvet as Duncan comes round on board KC to take this 60-yard penalty. All the way along the ground, nicely met in the goal mouth there, I think, by Nicola Elcombe. Good play from her. Pancho McLaughlin comes in. Still Titans Law Zimbabwe battling it out. And finally, it's Matt Giacini who makes the break. Matt Giacini over. Oh, what a strike. Beautiful hit by Matt Giacini. Drives it long and hard. Straight down the field, riding a horse of Craig James called Jigsaw. He's still pushing along. Still there. Over on the far side. Who's going to pick it up? They've lost it now. Titan Law Zimbabwe picked up by Duncan Ellis. He drives it into the middle of the field, tries to get it up to Leanne Spark. Leanne is battling hard against Pancho McLaughlin. She's really giving a very hard time to Pancho. He's struggling to get away from her. Well played by Leanne, but still Francisco's there, pushing it forward. Now he's going to have to fight through Duncan Ellis. Duncan comes in, rides off Pancho. Pancho reckoned he got the right away, but the umpire's whistle stays silent. Beautiful near side backhand shot from Duncan Ellis up to Cameron Chubb. Cameron tucks inside Matt Giacini. Matt Giacini's going to have to get out of the way. The umpires say, yep, that he was in the way. Well, you might be beginning to make it, you might be beginning to get a little feeling of tension out there. There's an awful lot of hard riding going on, and players are getting a little bit heated, saying you're in my right of way. The way to play good polo is to stop the other player getting the ball, and if you mark hard, that is a very good game of polo. So they're playing good polo out there, marking each other very hard, but tension's beginning to get a little high. As you saw there, Cameron Chubb wasn't able to move freely down the field, as unfortunately in front of him, Matt Giacini had just come across that right of way. So Pancho McLaughlin comes back onto the field. Took the opportunity to change. I think he's come onto a little horse called Desert. And he's been going through the horses quite quickly, trying to keep them fresh, as Duncan Ellis will come round now to take this penalty for from 60 yards out. Remember, a free hit, a defended goal. We've talked about it before. He is allowed to take one strike only at the ball and must have the intent of putting it through. Will he loft it in? In he comes. Duncan Ellis riding KC. Comes in all the way along the ground, but it's a very effective. He puts it through. Number 3 goes up onto the board, and that's Duncan Ellis who puts the team of Rockblend up there, 3 apiece in the closing seconds of this second chukker. The line-up over on the far side now. Ends have reversed again. We've got about 20 seconds remaining. The ball will be bowled in, and then when that whistle goes now, the clock stops. 20 seconds remaining as the ball goes back in. That's 20 to the first bell, and Duncan Ellis makes the break. Lovely play, possession so crucial. Duncan's out on his own. He's being hunted down. Can he manage to put it through? Duncan Ellis all the way. Duncan Ellis scores! Lovely goal for the stick of Duncan Ellis, showing that the ears may be advancing, but he's still got all the skill. They'll come back to the centre, but there goes the hooter. That will end the second chukker. Off they go with a scoreline of Rockblend leading by 4 goals to 3. Away we go in the third chukker. Scoreline 4-3 in favour of Rockblend South Africa. Backhand shot taken there by Titan Law Zimbabwe. They trail by 1 at the moment. Pancho McLaughlin takes possession. Up for the pass goes Martin Versfeld. It's still Pancho who has it. He's taking it down the field. He's got his teammates ahead of him, but he's got behind him Nicola Elcombe, but she went over the top of that one. Through comes Duncan Ellis. That master of tactics comes in. He tries to pick the loose ball up, but Nicola Elcombe is there first of all. Duncan Ellis just slows the game down. Riding Blueberry in this chucker, a 6-year-old mare, drives it up to the front door. Cameron Chubb is there. He got an unkind bounce, but he scores anyway. What a goal by Cameron Chubb, a really unkind bounce by him. And that means that the team of Rockblend South Africa move into a more commanding advantage with Cameron Chubb, the goal scorer there. Ball would be bowled in. Picked up in the line out. Pancho McLaughlin just taking it forward now. Here he goes. He still has possession. Reaching out is Leanne Sparks. She comes in to hassle him hard. Does just enough to put him off. Backhand shot taken. Duncan Ellis sets it up nicely. Leanne Spark will try and come in, but it's Cameron Chubb. Here comes Cameron Chubb in the third chucker. He's riding Duke. He comes racing down the field, and it's Cameron Chubb. Long arm comes out. Can he take the cut shot and finish it off? Cameron Chubb still there. Pushes it towards the flags. In comes Pancho McLaughlin. Big under the neck shot from Matt Cassini. Sends it up to Pancho. Pancho comes in. He's being hassled hard by Leanne. And Duncan Ellis is also there. Finally the whistle goes as they stop over on the far side. Game opening up a little bit more, but don't underestimate just how hard Leanne is riding there on Pancho McLaughlin, giving him a really hard time, not letting him have the run he'd like in the middle of the field. Spot hit awarded, by the looks of things, to the white shirts of Rockblend South Africa. And it's Duncan Ellis, pushes the ball forward. Nice play from Duncan. Still taps it forward. Duncan has possession. Still Duncan moving the ball forward. Ridden out of it hard by Matt Cassini. He's over the top. Ball runs loose, picked up by Pancho McLaughlin. But the whistle had gone. I think he had his play a little bit upset there by one of the white shirts. So the ball will go in favour, the penalty of Titan Law Zimbabwe. They were going forward at the time in their own half, so they're going to take this one up to the centre of the field for what we call a penalty 5B. And Pancho McLaughlin takes the opportunity to quickly change ponies. In this third chucker, he's getting back onto the horse that he played at the opening chucker called Luna. You may play a pony as many times as you like in a polo match, but you must not play a pony more than the total of 2 full chuckers in duration of time. And if you play a pony 1 full chucker, you must give it a full break of a full chucker before you bring it back onto the field. But you can, if you want, play a pony 5 or 6 times of 2 or 3 minutes each, as long as the total time is not more than 2 full chuckers. So this is going to be Pancho McLaughlin from the centre of the field. They trail at the moment by 2 goals. He'll be dearly looking to get one back. It is possible to score from the halfway line in 1 hit. So will Pancho go for the big hit? In he comes. He goes for the big hit, but he goes all the way along the ground, but it's running well. Matt Cassini picks up the loose ball. He leaves it behind. In comes Cameron Chubb to try and get a hold of it. Doesn't get a hold of it, but he may have hit it over his own back line. I heard the whistle go. Did he put it over that back line, or will it be a knock-in? Whistle did go. So it's just if he touched the ball, put it over his own back line, or did he not? Looks like they say that he didn't hit the ball, so it will be a knock-in, and Duncan Ellis Who's the man who's going to take the strike? Duncan comes in, riding Blueberry, pushes it down the field, sends it up to his teammate, but he's going to pick up his own pass. Duncan over on the far side, comes racing down the field, he leaves it behind. Good backhand by Machassini, picked up now by Cameron Chubb. Over on the far side, still the ball in play, but the whistle has gone, so the clock stops with under 4 minutes remaining in this third chukker. Spot hit quickly taken by Pancho McLaughlin. Pancho drives that one forward, sends it up to Machassini. Machassini reaches out, tries to put it into the middle there, doesn't quite get in. In comes Cameron Chubb, but it's Duncan Ellis who took the backhand first of all, ricocheted off Pancho's McLaughlin's pony, picked up now. In fact, it wasn't Pancho's, it was Martin Fassfeld's pony racing down there. Was Pancho, said, I've got the right of way. Will the umpires agree? We'll wait and see. And the game just beginning to get a little bit fractious now, not quite flowing as well. It went better in the previous chukker, so we just hope that it opens up a little bit more with Pancho McLaughlin taking the strike. He has a spot hit, so he can just tap it in. As I said, he's riding this horse Luna, had it in the first chukker. Duncan comes out to challenge. McLaughlin puts it away. Score 5-4 in favour of Rockblend South Africa. So they come back to the centre of the field and line up. That one scored by Pancho, with 4 now on the board in favour of Titan Law Zimbabwe and 5 on the board in favour of Rockblend South Africa. Ball is bowled in, picked up by Martin Fassfeld. Martin pushes it along, leaves it behind. Owen Nelson can't get there. Nicola Elcombe does. Well done to her. She sends it up to teammate Machassini. Machassini leaves it behind. Duncan Ellis loses sight of the ball. Picked up now. That was by Nicola. Then she left it behind. In comes Cameron Chubb. Cameron Chubb picked that one up. Pancho McLaughlin had his stick aloft, saying, I had the right of way. It looks like the umpires agree. Therefore, it will be a spot hit in favour of Titan Law Zimbabwe. Spot hit. It's going to be Pancho McLaughlin. 4 goals from the Argentine. Plays his polo though in Zimbabwe. Hence why he's representing Zimbabwe today. Plays off a 4-goal handicap. And along with Duncan Ellis, the highest rated player on the field at the moment, Machassini comes back onto the play, riding a horse of Craig James called Buster. In comes Pancho McLaughlin. Big drive, it's going to go all the way. Is it straight? Oh, he pushes it wide out to the left. Picking the ball up over on the far side. It's going to be Cameron Chubb who's chasing it down there. Cameron out there. Still it's Cameron. Under the neck from Cameron. Pushes it towards the middle of the field. What can he do? In comes Leanne Spark. Leanne takes it on the near side. She's over the top. Through comes Duncan Ellis. Rather, it's Cameron Chubb. Cameron's there still now. Ball picked up by Pancho McLaughlin. Pancho ridden out of it by Duncan, who takes the backhand shot. Whistle went though, first of all. Did Duncan have the right of way? The umpires will discuss it. Pancho McLaughlin thinks he didn't. We'll have to wait. The 2 umpires, if they hold their hand aloft, looks like they've said the goal will stand. The backhand shot from Duncan, beautifully taken there, puts it through. They go to the middle of the field. looks like the goal has stood. Lovely backhand shot from Duncan. The two umpires have microphoned access with Clive Peddle, the referee on the side of the field. Probably they asked him, was that okay? He said yes. The scoreline, another one on the board for Rockblend, 6-4. Duncan says, I've got the right of way. And I think that one, any one of us could have seen that actually the ball came through the tunnel. Rockblend, in the form of their number 4, Duncan Ellis with the white helmet, had the right of way. Well, I hope you're beginning to get a little feel for what we mean by the right of way. We've been talking about it a lot, and I've been trying to explain it to you from the start of the day. When the ball is struck or when it is thrown in the line out, there is that line, and you have to be on the line to make a play on the ball. The reason why we have the rules are that if everybody had a free-for-all, you could have an awful crash. And at the time, one must remember the safety of ponies first and players second are what matters. The reason ponies first is they don't repair as well as players. You can send a player off to hospital, but it's not quite so easy when a horse is injured. So we must think about the safety of ponies, and that's why they come first. So look at the way Duncan Ellis comes in, getting his horse nicely balanced onto the leading leg, shaking its head a little bit, but Duncan goes for the big drive. He doesn't really get it as far as he'd hoped to. It's going to be picked up there by Cameron Chubb. Whistle goes first, though, as he took the loose ball. So we have a penalty in favour of Rockblend. Umpires have called play. Looks like it's going to be Duncan Ellis who will come round. And this, by the looks of things, is a penalty 2. I don't see anybody getting ready to come across. It's a penalty 3. It's defended from 40 yards out. Pancho McLaughlin can come in, but Duncan's having a real struggle to get his horse to come in. Duncan comes in, takes the strike. Pancho McLaughlin meets it well. Lovely play by Pancho, picks it up. Whistle has gone. Did he come across before the ball was struck? Is the question. You may not come over that back line until the ball is struck. If you do, then the penalty is retaken. I think that was the case. Duncan Ellis was struggling to get his pony to come in, and in doing so, Pancho McLaughlin, who was on that left-hand side of the goalpost, was waiting to come across and defend the goal, and he probably came across that back line before the ball was struck, and that's why the penalty is being retaken. So another chance for Rockblend. They lead by 2 at the moment. Duncan Ellis gets the other opportunity, but it looks like he said, my pony's not behaving, and therefore he's asked Cameron Chubb to take the strike for this penalty. It's Cameron Chubb who's going to come in and take the strike. So Cameron comes in, riding a horse called Duke. This time he takes the big drive. He puts it wide, and so Titan Law Zimbabwe managed to keep that 2-goal disadvantage without it being extended, as Pancho McLaughlin comes in from the back line. On board this horse called Luna of Warren Lurie's. Tries to take the big cut shot, didn't really get a hold of it. It'll come off the boards, Duncan Ellis and him together. But the ball is there. It hopped over the boards. He didn't get the ricochet. Let's give them a big hand of applause. They're here in front of the Inanda clubhouse. Give Titan Law Zimbabwe and Rockblend South Africa a big hand of applause. We've got a chucker and a bit remaining, with currently Rockblend South Africa leading 6-4. Nicola Elcombe has her stick hooked. In comes Martin Fairstfeld, hooked out of it as well by Owen Nelson. Cameron Chubb turns it nicely for Duncan Ellis, but first of all, Pancho McLaughlin was there first. Leanne Spark pushing him hard, comes in. Duncan comes through, and the whistle goes again. To see which way this one will go. Duncan Ellis taking the opportunity to go off to change his pony, as is Pancho McLaughlin. The two of them off the field at the moment. Leanne Spark, I think, unfortunately just came in on Pancho. He had the right of way. She wasn't able to make the play, and so there was no advantage at the time. So a spot hit awarded, and back onto the field comes Pancho McLaughlin with Matt Giacchini just there. Duncan Ellis also comes back on. I think, pretty sure that Duncan's horse he's riding on is called Savannah. This horse is 17 years old. The oldest pony playing today, that's the one that Duncan's riding. 17 years old. I said if you look after them, you can. So well done to Savannah. She comes from Zimbabwe, and she's 17 years old. And it's going to be Pancho McLaughlin who brings this one down the field. It's still Pancho. This way, that way. There goes the hooter. 30 seconds of play remain. He's still going to push it there. He's hungry to get one back. Going to the last chucker. Goes for the big strike. Is it straight enough? I don't think it is. It's going to go wide. It's gone wide. The end of the third chucker. Let's give them all a big hand of applause as off they go at the end of the third period of play, with Rockblend South Africa leading over Titan Law Zimbabwe by 6 goals to 4. You could see, I'm sure all of you who've been watching polo now understand by that right of way. So the start of the fourth chukker, the score 6-4 in favour of Rockblend. You saw Duncan take that hit from the back line. Unfortunately for him, one of the players of Titan Law Zimbabwe came in front of him. You saw Duncan having to pull his horse up very suddenly in order to avoid a collision. That was a very, very good example of why we have the rules of polo, in order to avoid a collision. Duncan was going at speed. One of the opposition came in front of him. You saw him have to pull his horse up quickly in order to avoid the collision, and that is why the umpires blew the penalty. At the time, Rockblend South Africa in the white shirts were going forward in their own half, so in order to give them sufficient advantage, the umpires moved the ball up to the centre of the field for a penalty 5B. It's going to be Duncan Ellis who's going to take the strike. He comes round riding Italia. She's a 9-year-old mare from South Africa. Drives that one down the field. Who's going to be picking it up? Coming in there is Owen Nelson. But did he have the right of way? Owen tried to pick the loose ball up. I think he may have scooted in front of Pancho McLaughlin of Titan Law Zimbabwe. It'll be a spot hit taken by Pancho McLaughlin. Pancho, big drive down the field. Picked up there by Matt Giacchini. Umpire's whistle gone again. Did they say did he have enough advantage? Did he have the right of way? Although he picked the loose ball up and drove it along, I think they were probably saying that he had the right of way infringed already, yes, and didn't have enough advantage. So although he did get the ball, he had already been fouled before by the player coming in front of him on that right of way. So a penalty 3, this is from 40 yards out, is what they've awarded. This is our final chukker of the day. Our final chukker of the day, so if you're not watching, you should be. In comes Pancho McLaughlin. Duncan Ellis can defend. Pancho drives. Pancho puts it through. A beautiful goal to the stick of Pancho McLaughlin. Gets one back. Titan Law Zimbabwe only trailing by one now. So here we go. We've got not much time remaining. Cameron Chubb takes the backhand shot. Owen Nelson took the backhand as well. And it's 6-5 with only one goal separating the two teams. And yet another whistle. I'm afraid we've had an awful lot of whistle in this match. But then if players are coming across that right away, then it is important to keep a firm grip on things. Spot hit. Pancho McLaughlin is the one who's going to take the spot hit. They trail by one at the moment. As I said, those of you who've not been watching the game, you've got about 6 minutes remaining. So you need to come out, get your drink, enjoy the final of the Cell C Africa Cup 2017. The final chukker. Who's going to be the winners? Titan Law Zimbabwe or Rockblend South Africa? At the moment, just one goal in favour separates them. Rockblend South Africa having a smidgen of a lead as in comes Pancho McLaughlin. Pancho comes in. He's riding this horse called Tonic. He played it in the first chukker. What a drive! That's gone 170 metres down the field. In comes Cameron Chubb to pick up the loose ball. Takes the backhand shot. And unfortunately, another whistle. So, the penalty, unfortunately, by Rockblend, right close to the goal mouth, means that they've awarded a penalty too. This is a free hit from 30 yards out. The white shirts of Rockblend South Africa can do nothing but stand and watch as in comes Pancho McLaughlin, riding this horse called Tonic that he played in the first chukker. He drives in, he drives it through. The scores are level. Let's give them a big hand of applause. They're coming back to the Cell C Centre and the scores are 6 apiece with Titan Law Zimbabwe on 6 and Rockblend South Africa on 6. And we've still got a full 5 minutes of polo to run. So it's anybody's match as the shadows lengthen here at the Inanda Polo Club. Our thanks again to Cell C and all our sponsors, our title sponsor, Cell C, but also Blue Label Telecoms, Gaggenau, City of Johannesburg, Ford Fury and Delta Airlines. And Leanne Spark, she's out on her own. Here she goes. She pushes it towards the goal mouth. Didn't manage to get it in. Backhand by Pancho McLaughlin. In comes Nicola Elcombe, the two girls playing their hearts out there. Nicola and Leanne, well done to both of you, really contributing in this hard-fought contest between Titan Law Zimbabwe and Rockblend South Africa. Well, we've had 15 and a half chukkers of great polo. We've got one half of a chukker remaining. So please do come out if you haven't already to enjoy what is a fantastic spectacle here. Our thanks to everybody who've supported it, come and played polo. What a backdrop here in the heart of Sandton, the Inanda Polo Club. A tremendous setting for this Cell C Africa Cup 2017. Couldn't be closer. Rockblend South Africa had to qualify last weekend, so this is their 6th day of polo. Titan Law Zimbabwe, as visiting teams, get an invitation straight to the second weekend. And Duncan Ellis, as I said to you, he won't mind me telling you, an old campaigner, one time had a handicap of 7 when he played in the United States of America professionally. His son Cody at the moment is playing over there professionally. In comes Duncan to take the strike all the way along the ground. Will it go through? It's gone wide, it's gone wide. Titan Law Zimbabwe breathe again as it goes out to the left. Who's going to bring it in? Pancho McLaughlin is forced to release the ball by Leanne Spark. Matt Giacchini can't get a hold of it. Duncan Ellis slows the ball down, takes control. Horse isn't giving him much support, but he manages to turn it around, avoid the hook. He's being hassled hard by Nicola Elkin. These two girls are really giving grief on the two best players. Duncan Ellis breaks clean. He shoots for goal. He doesn't manage to get it. Has he gone there? Ball in front of the goal mouth. In comes Cameron Chubb. Owen Nelson. Owen Nelson took the backhand shot. Look at Owen. He's going to be dining out on that one for days to come. I promise you, Owen Nelson will bore you rigid how he scored the goal in the last 3 minutes of the final chukker. Well done, Owen. You might be 65, but there's still life in you yet. Owen Nelson puts one on the board. Chukker number 4, and Rockblend lead by 7 goals to 6. Pancho McLaughlin tries to take the backhand shot, wasn't able to do it because a player came in underneath his stroke. You may hook a player, but you cannot come underneath the stroke. So it will be a spot hit in favour of Titan Law Zimbabwe. Time ticking away, 3 minutes, 10 seconds, just a goal between them. Pancho McLaughlin drives it down. Beautiful play from him. Owen Nelson. What a backhand from Owen. Lovely play from him. Caught his teammates on the hop. In comes Cameron Chubb. Cameron doesn't get a hold of it. Leaves it behind. Good backhand from Matt Giacchini, who's going to turn. Nicola Elkin brings herself around beautifully. What a backhand from Owen Nelson. The game really opening up now. Pancho McLaughlin comes in. Pancho cancels out the hook stick of Cameron Chubb, turns it around. Still it's Pancho pushing it forward. Pancho riding a horse still on tonic, which he played in the first chukker, but they're going up towards the goal line. Who's going to go? Will it go this way? Will it go that way? You see umpire Brad McGibbon places the ball down. Who is going to take the penalty? This one is the opportunity for Titan Law Zimbabwe to equalise. They trail by 1 at the moment. You see the scoreline there. The black shirts of Titan Law Zimbabwe have 6. The white shorts of Rockblend South Africa have 7. This is a free hit from 60 yards out, and it's going to be Pancho McLaughlin, age 23, playing in Zimbabwe all this season, who's going to take the strike. In he comes, settles his horse down onto the leading leg and comes in. He comes in, he hits it well, he hits it clean, straight through the hay diddle diddle. Up on the scoreboard goes number 7, and we have a match on our hands. 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining, 7 apiece. What a great goal from Pancho. In goes the ball. It pops out of the line out. It's picked up. Ooh, someone caused an infringement. They're going to take it up to the 60-yard point by the looks of things. There was an infringement in the line out there. You see Brad McGibbon taking the ball up to put it down at 60 yards out. So no sooner did Titan Law Zimbabwe equalise then the opportunity is given to Rockblend South Africa to regain the lead. 2 minutes remain. This is a crucial strike for Duncan Ellis. Told you he's the old campaigner. His wife Roxy, I keep on hearing screaming down there in the mud hut area. Are you there, Roxy? She's not listening, I can see her. As I said, his son plays out in the States at the moment. So a big moment for Duncan as he comes around to take this 60-yard penalty. Riding Italia. She's 9 years old. Let's give him a little quad. In he comes. What a strike, but I don't think it's straight. It's wide. From the back line, bringing it in is Pancho McLaughlin. It's 7 apiece. They will play the extra 30 seconds. If the scores are level, Pancho reaches out, pushes it forward. Still it's Pancho. Grief being given on him by Leanne Spark all the time. Martin Farsfeld picks the loose ball up. When he put it through, Martin taking it through. Big backhand from Cameron Chubb, turns it nicely. Leanne Spark still there on the shoulders of Pancho McLaughlin. No problems there. He's getting a little annoyed. Duncan picks the ball up. Here comes Duncan Ellis. Duncan, 7 apiece, being hunted down. Duncan Ellis still going. Matt Giacini's with him. Duncan Ellis tries to take the shot. Off the goal post. Martin Farsfeld's there. Gone wide, gone wide, gone wide. Oh, it's drama here in the last chukker. We're into the last 40 seconds. Into the last 40 seconds. The time is ticking away. 42-41. Pancho McLaughlin restarts play. An opportunity for Rockblend South Africa. Lost there. Here we go, still on the run. Big drive there. Pancho goes over the top. Whistle goes. What did the umpire see that we didn't? We'll wait. But it looks like the ponies are going off. Look at them all changing. They're all going to go and get a fresh pair of legs. As I said, it really matters if you can have a fresh pair of legs at the end. 4 horse hoofs underneath you. You may be able to hit the ball quite beautifully, but it's nothing without your horse. And I think hopefully some of you are beginning to see how much it is about the pony. If you can't get your pony around, if you don't have the speed, you can't hit the ball. So just remember these ponies. We've had ponies played today, aged 5 years old. The oldest one was in the previous chukker when Duncan Ellis got onto Savannah. She's 17. He's now changed off, and we're back waiting to see what will happen in this final chukker. I think he's actually got back onto Savannah for this final couple of minutes. So we have 30 seconds to the first bell. A hit from the centre of the field. It's going to be Pancho McLaughlin who takes it. Duncan Ellis tries to come into Pancho. Matt Giacini comes in. Oh, good play from Duncan. Lovely backhand shot. Sets it up. Plucked out of the air by Pancho McLaughlin. He played tennis with it. Tick, tick of the clock. Still there. Duncan came in. Oh, and the whistle goes. The whistle goes. What will they say? Umpires blew as Duncan came in, took that strike. There's been a lot of penalties being taken. He got the better of the ride off Duncan. Really did manage to get it nicely. Good backhand, but it was plucked in the air by Pancho McLaughlin. This time it's another 60-yard penalty. This one is a crucial hit for Pancho McLaughlin. If he puts it through, that will win the match for Titan Law Zimbabwe. With only 15 seconds remaining, they won't be able to manage to get back to the centre to throw the ball in. However, if he misses, we will go into extra time. So here we go. The end of the Chelsea 2017 Africa Cup. It all hangs on the young 23-year-old Argentine, Pancho McLaughlin. No pressure, lad, no pressure. He drives it. Oh, it looks good, it looks good. Is it through? Yes, it is. Pancho McLaughlin makes no mistake, puts it through. Time ticking away. There goes the final hooter. Congratulations to Titan Law Zimbabwe, who run out the winners by 8 goals to 7 over Rockblend South Africa. Let's give them a big hand of applause. It was a great match, a close match, and a beautifully taken penalty when the pressure was there. Pancho McLaughlin was able to come through and put it straight through the hey diddle diddle in that final match. Please give them a big hand of applause as round they come, the winners of the 2017 Celsea Africa Cup, Nicola Elcombe, Martin Versfeld, Matt Giacini and Pancho McLaughlin. And when the pressure was there, he put that final penalty straight between the flags and through the hey diddle diddle.